Hey everyone, quick little market video or update on a few coins that I'm looking at this week and the market sentiment. So let's get quickly into it. Um, First, Bitcoin. For those that were in the Discord, I gave a short, right? We filled it and then hit TP1. Now, if we're taking a look at this from a clean point of view, let's take a look. So clear resistance comes here around 27.2. If we do get it, that's a place where I'd be looking to short. But right now, I do see a small little supply zone here, right? So this 26.8K level is going to be very crucial. And I'm looking for an up down under. So what that means is take the highs, clear, and then that's the trigger to short. Um, Now we can draw trend lines as well here. So if we take a look, right, on a lower time frame, we have this, and I'm not setting limits here, but if we do go into the zone and then we reject, right, like that up, down, under, that's the trigger to short. However, I would love to short this. So something like if we get 27.2, and I will lower it. So this is like the resistance, but I'm going to front run it. So 27.2 is where I will look to start, which is also this order block here. So I'd be looking to start the short there, and my stop would be above these candles here. So it's a 3% risk, so around 28K is the stop. And I'm looking to um, play it all the way down to this demand zone here. So we have this demand zone at 24.8ish. Let's make that gray. So something like that, where we just come in, wick into the zone, and then go higher. Now, we can continue to draw more trend lines here, right? So if we have something like that, as the days go by, if we still chop in this range, it's very logical for the next short to come close to this trend line, right? Um, so that's why I placed my short there. And the reason why I'm not longing 25.2 like everyone wants is because we already front ran it, right? And if we are to go down again to that area, I don't think it's going to hold. It's going to trigger all those stops from people that were long from here and their stops are below this support here. So I think we take liquidity and we're going to bounce into this demand zone. And I gave the play in my Discord, but it's going to be something like this. I'm not going to give you the levels that I gave them, but it's like that. And I hope to eventually break out. Now, I do think the top is in for the year. I do think we go lower. I won't tell you how low we go. It's in the macro video that I made. Unless you're in the Discord, you have the levels. But I'm looking for hopefully fill the shorts, go into the zone, fill hedge long, and then continue to go higher. And that would be the setup. So 24.7 is where I look to long. I would DCA down to about 23.8, and my stop would be around 23.484. In terms of the short, again, two triggers. One would be straight into this supply zone, up, down, under, break the trend, and that's when you'll short. Stop would be tight, probably above here, around like 27. Otherwise, we look for 27.2K. We're getting a little pump in the market currently. For ETH is holding relatively well to Bitcoin. We've been rejecting from this trend line, and let's draw a few more here. All right. So this is your support, 1794-ish, with the wicks down to 1750-ish, 60-ish. Okay, so that is your support. Now we've bounced from this area like one, two, three, many times. If we get to here, I don't think we hold. I would love to get along in this demand zone here. Now, as the days go by, it's going to become um, a weaker place to hold because we're going to be losing the trend line as we get, further out. So that is going to be a place to scalp. So 1700 with your stops probably around 1626, and then hopefully play that back to the trend line. So something like that. And then if we reject there, bearish retest, we go for the next area. But if we do not hold this, then honestly, I think the 1500s are going to be coming. So something around there. And that would be another place where I would go long. This would be another area. Depending on how fast we get there, it could be lower. But this is going to be your buy area, and this is like your long-term buy area and hold, or at least start DCAing in this area, and that's from 1500, like 1515 down to about 1400. That's where you're gonna have your bids layered, and not heavy bids, just like maybe like 10% of your allowed capital in this area, and then if we get lower, that's where you'll want to buy as well. In terms of longs, the only place I would like to long is this demand zone here, or unless we get a successful flip of 1909. Basically a breakout, retest, and then if that retest is successful, you'll look to long. First TP would come here. We've had major resistance, and then 2000s if we get it. So no longs in this area or in this compression zone. You'll want to long this demand zone or a breakout and retest of this trend line. BNB. Let's take a look at this on the weekly. So we had a trend line here that we broke down from. There's another trend line over here. Clear resistance. Around 343 to 350-ish. Okay. If we somehow get to this supply zone around 304 to 315, that is a must short in my opinion. So it will look something like that. Excuse me. But on lower time frames, we have an order block here. So if we get to 278, I'm also going to start a small short. Very small, very tight short. And obviously would want to go lower. So 279 is where I would start. And I'd ladder my bids in this zone around to 285-ish. And then my stop around 287. Now this is going to be a high risk short. But if we go back on the daily, the demand zone's actually lowered, or sorry, the supply zone's lowered. So actually, scratch that one before. I'd like to take this short here. Again, it's going to be a high risk trade because anything can come out of this SEC deal. So start your short around 277 up to about 284 with your stops around 286.5. If we break that, we're going to fill this gap here. But outside of that, you want to do, if we do break down from this trend line without going higher, you're looking for a breakdown, right? And then you'd short on the retest. And then honestly, there is support at 219 here. Maybe we take out the liquidity here at 183. But the next ones won't come until 45. Now this is going to be a macro play, okay? Because as we see here, let me go to a different BNB chart. On the weekly, we can clearly see that we have a bear flag, right? Now, depending on where you want to start your flag, there's your first target, right around 78. And then your second target is negative 135. I'm joking. So if we break down from here, that's your trigger to short as well. Otherwise, you're going to wait for higher. And the higher was given, right? And if we're looking on the weekly level, if we do break back into the higher end of this range, then it's going to be around 304 to 315-ish with your stops around 323. On a short term, you are looking for a short around 277, DCA up to 284-ish, and your stop loss would be 287. Otherwise, breakdown of this trend, you short the retest. For Sol, I gave this 4 hours. This was a 4-hour demand zone. I gave it on Twitter and the Discords. This was the area where you wanted to long. We filled it literally peak of bottom and up currently 4%. The reason I did not short this is because we did swing failure the lows, right? And then we reclaimed it. Now on the daily, the 18.9 level is very important, okay? So if we do reject here and close below, then Sol does want to go lower. It's going to be weak. So keep an eye out on that. Otherwise, I would love to get a short if we do go higher around this level here. And that is from 20 to about 20.4 levels. My stop would be around 20.8. And I just write this down. Now with coins like BNB and Matic and Sol, these were all listed as or not BNB, but Sol, Matic, and a few others. Right? These were listed as securities from the SEC lawsuit. So these coins are going to be very volatile and very risky to trade. So if you are going to trade them, I would go in with maybe half of normal size. But I'm not looking to short Sol until either we get up here or we turn this 18.89 into resistance, right? We came below, we closed it, but this daily is very important to see if we actually retest it and turn it into resistance because it's previously support, right? And if so, that could be a nice short scalp. Now again, it's going to be a scalp. You're not going to try to swing it all the way down, and you're looking for profits, quick profits. I'm not going to tell you when to take it, but yeah. Injective, it had a bear flag. We had broken the trend line yesterday. We actually reclaimed it so far. We are testing the supply zone, but this gap wasn't far off for this to be tested. So if we take a look at this on the 4-hour, I'm going to remove this. Let's draw. This looks like it's breaking out. So I would love for this to go up and make a, so here is a higher high, right? Higher low, higher high. Here is your lower high. I would love for this to go up and make a, or sorry, a lower low, and here's your lower high, and reject. Now this is the bearish Quasimodo pattern. Let me get an image of that for you. Actually, I don't have one currently, but one sec, let me see. One sec. All right. Whoa. Okay. So here is your neckline, right? Here's your higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low. It was previously here. We didn't get high enough to make it, but now here is your lower low. So if we do make a lower high, I look to short it like this with your stops above this wick. Probably a little bit tighter. And then make that shit drop. Okay, so I'm looking for something like this. That's the only place where I'd look to short. You could take a short scalp around 750 if we get it. That short scalp will look something like this. It's very, very tight. And you short it back down to the trend line. Okay, so the short scalp will be around 750 with your stops around 7.66. That's a very risky scalp. The one I would love to get would be this bearish Quasimodo pattern, the short around 17 or 7.7. And my stop loss, this would be a swing play around 8.8. LDO, very strong coin. Now it's in a rising wedge pattern. Okay, so let me remove these really quickly. So it's been holding this trend ever since, right? We're bouncing from it. We bounced from it yesterday. Um, you can keep shorting the top of the trend line until broken. We did reject from this order block here, right? So now we just got to see how this reacts. Reclaim this 2.28 level, then that's a good place to long. You're looking for a flip of that level. Now if we're taking a look on the shorter time frame here, good place to possibly short. Now it's going to be risky. This coin's been holding strong. Is around 2.8, 2.35ish. Actually, basically 2.33 to about 2.35. Very tight stop loss. And you'd short it back down to this trend line here. In my opinion, this isn't worth it, but if you're looking for a short, that's what you would do. Otherwise, you'd want to wait until this top trend line hits for you to short. To be honest, if I were to short this instead of that area, I'd possibly go for a short at 2.35. Stop loss above those wick 2.43, and then I'd write it down. Why we have an order block here. It did get filled on the way down, but I still think it can reject from here. 2.35 has been pretty hard resistance to flip, so I would like to short that before shorting the supply here. Last but not least, XRP has been holding very strong amid this dip. This is the future of finance. Now, are we going to make an inverse head and shoulders here? If so, you'd want to long the breakout and retest and go higher. The Discord's already long, hopefully from 45 cents when I gave it. But no longs until this 43 level is 43.5 level is broken and flipped into support. Otherwise, on a lower time frame, this looks messy. Yeah, you'd probably want to get long around anywhere from 50 to 50.7 cents. So something like this, and then breakout. Stops would be around 49.5, and we target much higher. So I'm not going to be taking this XRP trade. I'm already in from much lower. There's no point in me doing so. The only trades that I am currently going to be taking is the Bitcoin short around 27.2 if we get it. I could scalp this, but I'm looking for that up, down, under. In terms of ETH, I'm not looking to long until we get into this demand zone here or flip this trend. Sol, I didn't take this long here, but I gave it to the group. BNB, I gave my plays there, and I'm not really looking to get into LDO or injective either. So those are the only coins that I'm currently taking a look at. I might change. If so, I'll update the Discord, and that's pretty much it. Thanks, everyone.